It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News and Podcast. On this, what is today? The 19th day of October 2022, coming to you from Central Virginia area, Bedford County, right outside of Lynchburg. And today, folks, by the way, is National Seafood Bisque Day. So I have no problem with that one at all. I love seafood bisque. Unfortunately, seafood bisque is not very popular in this area because we're not close enough to the seafood. But anyway, if you can get some seafood bisque, do it today and have some for me because I don't think there's any in Lynchburg area. Could be wrong, but not that I have noticed. But I'll do that the first time I get south next week. So, I do have a couple news stories today. Not much in the way of news, though. Of course, the lead story is Princes lifting their protocols, and we'll talk about that. A perfect score for the Viking star. And the Coral Adventurer sets off on an epic voyage. That and a lot more here at 11 o'clock this morning. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, usually within, 20, 30 minutes at the end of the broadcast. The podcast will be up. So there is no confusion. The podcast is not a separate entity. It is the audio track of this show. Ironically, this show's been going on for a long time, and the podcast audience is maybe 20 times the size of the audience for the show. But anyway, welcome aboard. Anytime you're listening to the podcast, if you want to hop over to check out any videos or clips or pictures that I might be using on that day's show, there's always a link in the description. Click here to access the video feed, and it takes you to the video feed so you can check out anything that we might be showing there. The first thing this morning, folks, my friend Christy that was on a couple days ago, Christy Durso, she's quite a lady. Well, she and Will the World have entered into a collaboration for a group cruise or series of group cruises to Alaska for next year. And this thing is awesome. Not only to advertise what they're doing, but the message that comes across in this is very strong. So it's also going to be going up on my blog later today. But anyway, this is just awesome.
I love how dancing makes me feel alive. I love how it draws people in. Everybody loves dancing. Most people are just too self-conscious to let themselves go and to do it. But when I get out there and I start dancing, it just invites people in to be part of it. We are here on the Koningsdam with Holland America, and we are so excited. We just left the port and we are about to head to Alaska for the best adventure. Oh, no. I haven't always been as confident in myself as I am now. I've always loved dancing, but I definitely had a time where I felt self-conscious. But now it's just, this is who I am, and I'm unapologetic about it. And I know that it doesn't matter what I look like. What they see is somebody having a good time, and I do. I just have the best time when I'm out there, and I don't worry about anything else. I can't believe we just saw a mama and triplets. And we saw her catch salmon. That was really cool. I am a mom, a wife, a business owner, and an advocate. I am strong and passionate. I fight for those that I love, and I fight for what I think is right. I think that there's nothing more important than creating a world that includes everyone. I think this is going to be one of the best experiences that we have here in Alaska, and we've already had so many amazing things. It's just been phenomenal. So I am ready.
Step a little closer. Which one of you would like to ride up front next to me?
I have a goal to change the world. I want to change it for everyone, and I want people to understand that those who have disabilities are just as valuable. They have just as many ideas. They have just as many thoughts, just as many emotions, just as many likes and dislikes, strengths and weaknesses. I want to shift the mindset from a mentality of this is where people with disabilities fit to this is where we all fit together. If you can't walk, roll. If you can't see, listen. If you can't hear, observe. There's nothing stopping you from being completely in the moment and experiencing life to the best of your ability. Be fully engaged. Be fully present. Every day you wake up with the choice. Is today going to be a good day or a bad day? And you have the power to make whichever you decide come true.
Wow, powerful message. You see why I fell in love with Christy the minute I met her. And while Libby, back, 5-6 months ago, Libby from Hawaii said, "You're going to love this lady." Yeah, she's right. There'll be a link in the description of today's show to take you to the website if any of you might be interested in looking into this accessible group cruise. I know I am. That's just awesome. Okay. Couple other things before we get to the news today. I did pick up on a couple more pictures from Pittsburgh Jason and Pompeii that I missed yesterday going through everything. And of course, that's the lovely Jen. And again, folks, if you don't follow Jason on Facebook, Jen's history lessons that are video clips are fabulous, just absolutely fabulous. So you need to follow Jason on Facebook. Of course, he also has a YouTube channel for you gaming enthusiasts. So, and that's another shot from Pompeii, and that's the writing or whatever you call those things, hieroglyphics, or I'm sure there's some good technical name for that. They're even older than I am, so it's amazing. And our buddy Blaine from Raleigh Travels, he's on the Carnival Horizon, and they were in Aruba. Of course, that's one of my favorite islands. I love all three of the ABC islands. I'm not sure which one I like better, whether it's Aruba, Curacao, or Bonaire. They're all three lovely, and I hope to go back to them again this year. I did not make it, and I'm saying this year now, talking about 2023. I did not make it to the ABCs in 2022. I'm hoping to change that in 2023 to get back again. One other thing that I'm going to mention from a kind of a personal note, actually two things from a personal note. One, last night was Amanda's birthday, and she wanted to go for sushi, which, I'm always game for that. Now, we have loved this restaurant forever. They have a new sushi chef. Now, look at how lovely the presentation is. I mean, it has flowers on it. There's actually, let me take that off so you can see the orchid even. See the orchid down at the bottom there? And the stalk of some kind of flowers. I don't know what they are. The rolls itself are actually on some kind of a leaf. I just thought it was really nice. And the sushi was just out of this world. So, I mean, I like sushi. So, you're never going to talk me out of that. But it was really good. So, and the other thing, folks, it was either yesterday or the day before. It's been a very busy week for me because, I've had a couple of interviews. I'm working on a couple things. I'm trying to get as much as of stuff done as far as the shorts and things that I've been putting off forever. So I'm trying to get caught up before I go start a new adventure. And I was approached in a message or an email or a comment about another content creator. And he says, I'd be interested in, if you'd be interested in me and, doing a slot in one of your shows. I was busy at the time and I stuck it someplace so I could go back to it and check out his YouTube channel and find out a little bit about him, because I was definitely interested from what I saw at the point. And when I finally got around to come back and take care of it and let him know that, yes, I'm interested, I can't find it. So I don't know if it was email and I had an email address, if it was the name of his channel. I know that was in it. And I have no idea where I put it to get back to it. So if you happen to be listening again and you know who you are, send me another comment or something so I can get back with you and schedule you to come on the show one day. That's me. I screw up everything. So anyway, all right. I do hope you guys enjoy Christy's little collaboration there on the upcoming Alaska trip. I thought that was fantastic. All right, I'll be back with a couple stories today, and then we'll get over to the chat room after a word from one of our network sponsors. All right, the lead story today has to do with Princess Cruise Lines. Kind of an interesting take on what's happening. Princess Cruise Line, operating under the Carnival Corporation, is lifting all of its protocols for the vast majority of cruises. There are a couple exceptions. In a letter sent to book guests sailing with Princess will no longer have to provide a negative test result regardless of their vaccination status. The cruise line had already changed its protocols in September when it removed the need for test results for vaccinated guests. This has now been updated to include unvaccinated. The new protocol will be effective October 21st and is valid for all cruises sailing to and from destinations where local rules do not differ with stricter requirements. That means that all U.S. sailings and European sailings are included. However, cruises sailing from Australia and New Zealand are not. For those voyages, the local rules still apply. The move from Princess is significant in many ways. First of all, the cruise line has been a headliner in mainstream media during the first months of the pandemic because of several outbreaks occurring on Princess ships. So the haters are probably all going to jump all over this. Moving to a no testing policy now shows considerable confidence in the ability to keep everyone on board healthy and safe. Also, Princess Cruises is the first cruise line under Carnival Corporation to have a far more relaxed testing policy, which could potentially point to other lines like Carnival itself to make a similar move. Carnival still states that irrespective of cruise length, guests age 5 and older will have to present a negative results of a PCR or antigen test taken no earlier than 3 days before sailing. Royal Caribbean also has a testing requirement, however, only for guests aged 12 and up. The changes that Princess has made will come under scrutiny from other cruise line. Although testing requirements are already much more relaxed than 6 months ago, there's still a hindrance for guests to book a cruise, in particular because daily life, seems to have returned pretty much to normal. I found this interesting in that, Princess is the only one of the Carnival group so far to do this. I'm never going to be happy that it's all back to normal, that in most cases, masks are not being used. But on the same token, I've gotten very comfortable and complacent myself in my personal doings, whether it's been on cruise ships or here locally in, restaurants and the like. So, I'm comfortable with the fact that I am vaccinated and I'm boosted all the way, and I will continue to be. And if, it happens that I come down with a COVID case at some point in time, I feel comfortable that it'll be mild because I've done everything I can do. That's my personal belief. I'm not preaching to anybody else. Your beliefs are yours, and so be it. A lot of people out there are upset about any kind of requirements, and they talk about freedoms. That's your belief. That's fine. I'm surely not going to change it. Doesn't mean that I have to believe like you believe. And we can both be happy with that. It's just like the areas that I don't touch, politics, and religion, and things like that. Because somebody has a different view of politics than I do, or a different religion than I am, or different beliefs than I have, doesn't mean that they're wrong and I'm right, or I'm wrong and they're right. It's all makes us all different and all part of a world. This is my thinking. Okay. Viking Star. And again, folks, I've never been on Viking, so that's one of my bucket lists for the future is to go on Viking. It tends to be a little more expensive, and I've been a cheap, what. The Viking cruise ship Viking Star scored a perfect 100 points on the recently unannounced USPH public health inspection. The inspection carried out by a sector of the U.S. Center for Disease Control, the CDC, took place on October 14th while the ship was in Fort Lauderdale. Cruise Center received a copy of the latest vessel sanitation inspection report stating that the Viking Star received a top score. This is the second time Viking Star has scored a perfect 100 points. The previous USPH inspection was conducted exactly 4 years ago on October 15th, 2018. We congratulate the Viking Star crew for their hard work, long hours, making a beautiful vessel one of the cleanest fleets of ships in the fleet. Before the pandemic, similar inspections were conducted twice a year for the ships sailing out of U.S. ports. During the inspections, all areas of the cruise ship are inspected, including food handling, medical facilities, water systems, water quality, dining rooms, common areas of the ship. Congratulations to Viking Star. That's great. Absolutely great. I'd go on the Viking Star, and I'd love to. You know, I need a rich widow that wants to adopt an old fat guy. That's what I need. It's got all the money in the world, so I could do all these things that I like to do. Yeah, no, I don't either. So, and I'm not being sexist here, folks. What can I say? All right. I'd like to know what this one costs. Speaking of costs, this is from my buddy Dave Monk, of course, of Ship Monk. Coral Expeditions ship, the Coral Adventurer, has left Cairns on a 59-night circumnavigation of Australia, carrying 105 passengers. This will be the largest navigational undertaking in the company history, with over 7,000 nautical miles on the passage, said Captain Matt Fryer. It will be epic. Yeah, it will be epic. I have no idea, folks, what the price tag was on that one. 105 passengers sailing from Cairns and circumnavigating Australia. That has to be awesome. Anyway, yeah, I'd like to do one of those too. That wraps up the news portion of today's show. Let's hop over into chat room. Chat room's been very active this week, which I'm always appreciative of. Kenneth, by the way, Kenneth is with us. I hope you're still on, Kenneth. I took your suggestion to heart. It's a very good suggestion. By the way, folks, Kenneth made a suggestion to me that I do a show on buying cruise line stocks, because right now they're pretty bargain basement kind of thing. I obviously, yes, I'm invested in the stock market, but I don't make those kind of decisions. I know very little about it. I have, my guy that takes care. I give him the money and he does it, and I'm happy with that. So I'm not the person to do this. However, Kenneth, the first thing this morning was the first thing I did after the business day started. I left a message on my guy's phone and told him that I need somebody to be a guest on my show one day to talk about buying cruise line stocks. Ins and outs, yeses or nos, suggested, not suggested, anything. I haven't heard back from him yet. I have no idea if he's the person to do this, or if maybe someone within his company, which is Edward Jones, would be a better person. But anyway, I've maybe carry enough weight with these folks that we'll get somebody to do that, Kenneth. So great idea. And I'm following up on it. And hopefully one day we'll have somebody on. And if any of you other guys know somebody that would be knowledgeable and not controversial like other content creators that do stock stuff, let me know. I'd be happy to invite anybody I can find to do this. Hot Air Tom's with us. More snow overnight for Kenneth. Yeah, it's supposed to snow up there. More for Kenneth up there. Kenneth can go out sleigh riding. How's that, Kenneth? Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Says good morning, all. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Eddie. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Mike also sent me a message, which I'm not going to mention publicly yet, I have taken that to heart. I have talked to one person, Mike, and have sent a message to another person. And we'll see. Two of us are very much interested in your suggestion. And I'm following up on it. And folks, when I can, I'll talk to you about that one. But anyway, thanks, Mike, for the idea. Sonny says hello to everybody again. Eddie, have you watched the new series East New York Cop Show? We are enjoying it. Is Brooklyn East New York? Carol's with us, says hello, everyone. Christy and Will the World get to introduce new cruisers to Alaska. Man, Sonny, I tell you what, I've watched that thing now probably a half dozen times. They did such a good job on that. And it's not necessarily impacting and advertising a cruise or, a group cruise. But the message is, I thought, just strong for all of us, whether we're, mobility challenged or not. I really, hats off to Will the World and Christy on that one. Nikki's here. Fall fell in Jacksonville. It's 55 degrees, back up to 80 next week. Well, that's a good thing because I'm heading that way. It was, when I got up this morning, it was 31 here. That's too cold for the old fat guy. I need to go on a cruise, y'all. I am. I leave. What day do I leave? Sunday, I think I'm leaving. I can't remember. I'm going to Tampa. I'm doing a Royal Caribbean out of Tampa. 5 nights, I think it is. And then I'm going over to, I'm staying for a couple nights with cousins that I have down in Florida. Not cousins, nieces and nephews that I have down in Florida. And then I'm going over to West Palm Beach and doing Margaritaville at Sea Express. And then I'm going back to Tampa and hooking up with our own Cindy Lee, who's here this morning. Hi, Cindy. On the Carnival Paradise. So that's the next adventure, which starts Sunday, I want to say. Monday, I think, is one of the travel days, which is always an iffy show on the road, but we'll do something. So anyway, that's coming up soon. And then, of course, back home for a week or so. And then I've got the two biggies in December, which is the Holland America New Staten Dam out of Fort Lauderdale, followed by the inaugural cruise for MSC Seascape. So basically, in the next 6 weeks, I'm on 5 different cruise lines. That's pretty cool. I like that. So, East New York is in Brooklyn, Eddie says. It says amen. Hot Air Tom, Eddie's asking on ABC. Amy's with us. Hi, y'all. Hi, Amy. Good to have you back. Always good to see you. Beautiful video with Christy in Alaska. What an inspiration she is. I agree. Man, I love that. Sundays at 9 on CBS, Eddie, the Hot Air Tom said. Yeah, we could probably get another 4 inches overnight. It was very wet snow, knocked power out for 4 hours. Power just came back on. Good. Hey, there's Dennis. How you doing, Dennis? Everybody saying hello to Dennis. Curacao is Cindy's favorite. Yeah, I love Curacao too. I like all 3 of the ABCs. I still probably Tortola, British Virgin Islands, probably is my favorite of the Caribbean islands, but the ABCs would all rank right behind it. Yeah, and it's time that I get back there. I haven't been back there. I haven't been there for a couple years now. Let's see. maybe 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I need to go back, see how it's changed, see if my picture's still on the post office wall. I don't know, might be. Hot Air says we enjoy all 3 of the Chicago series on Wednesday. Eddie says East New York is a rough hood. Sonny says, Cindy, I got to spend 4 hours in Curacao at the airport one day. Maybe I'll get to visit for real soon. Yeah, that's kind of sucked to go to Curacao and be stuck at the airport. I wouldn't be happy about that. Not in a beautiful place like Curacao. Oh my goodness. Theo Sear is having contract issues with renewing the local ABC station. Their owner is wanting a huge 60% increase. What is worse is that the pay-per-view I was going to view, the missed shows, will not work either due to the contract issues. Oh, well, now that stinks. Avoid those cruise clowns from Canada. Yeah, I know. Hot Air says, I missed Bonaire last January due to not feeling well the night prior. Was coughing a lot. Did not want to subject the bus to my coughing. Yeah, Bonaire's nice. Now, there's some neat things to do on Bonaire too that you don't find in other places. But yeah, I like all 3 of them. Lizzie Lou is with us. Hi, Lizzie. Good to have you back in the house. And everybody's chatting back and forth. And that's great, folks. I'm glad you guys all talk back and forth. That's cool. Sonny says down in the 30s last night, up to 78 today. We're not getting that warm today. It's only getting up in the 60s here, I think. And it's going to be back down close to freezing again tonight. Don't like that at all. Eddie says, agree with you, Chillie Cruises. Me too. Okay. Talking politics today may get you shot. Stay away. Absolutely, Sonny. And it doesn't matter whether you're left or right, Republican or Democrat. You know. That's why I say I hate all of them. And if their lips are moving, they're lying. Doesn't matter. Either way. But man, I wish we'd get rid of the television ads. Ugh. God, we got to put up with that crap till, what, another month? Oy vey. The yeah, there's one I can't say. Of public health is absolutely disgraceful. I completely agree, Dennis. It's happened on both sides of the pond from ideological similar politicians. I know. And these guys, for the most part, are civil servants who are there to do a specialty thing and keeping the general public safe and healthy. And, we went through a pandemic that was hell, pure hell. And, I know people are going to say, oh, it wasn't real. And it was a way for big pharma to do this. And no. It was real. I know too many people that died from it. But I'm sorry, whether you agree with what the CDC and the public health people did and suggested, they were in an area that they had never been in before. We haven't had a pandemic like this for 100 years. Did they make some mistakes? Sure. But where they were trying things and overall the things worked. Look at me, with all of my health issues, somebody along the way has done something right because I've had a pretty good year this year, folks. And have stayed pretty healthy because of what some of these people do that half the population wants to bitch, excuse my French, fuss about. Not supposed to say that B word on the air. Yeah, I don't want to get started on a rant because I'll go bonkers. Anyway, I agree with you, Dennis. Cindy says, Sonny, hope you get to go there. It's absolutely beautiful. Love having sticks in the cruise lines. Love having sticks. I was probably supposed to say love having stocks in the cruise line. Get OBC each time with Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and NCL. I used Robinhood. It's super easy to get the OBC. Yeah, in stocks. I caught that, Cindy. What I'd really like is somebody that knows what's going on in the world. I mean, I realize that if you the things like I think I saw a thing that said if you invest in $100 in Carnival, they give you $100 onboard credit. Well, I mean, that makes it pretty attractive to me because you're getting your money back in something else. So, but I'd like to have somebody that really knows the markets, knows stocks, that says, yeah, that's a good deal. Go for it. Or it says, no, here's why. So yeah. And I know a lot of you guys own stocks. I know several of you at one time had bought Carnival really cheap and it ran up really well. And I have no idea if you sold or not. There was definitely a high point to sell if you did that, and you racked up a lot of profit from it. I mean, that's terrific. But I'd really like to have an expert that we can pick their brains. That would be, I think, a very, very interesting show. Cindy, can't wait for Carnival Paradise. Almost time to check in. I got to check to see what all I have done and what I haven't done on that one. But yeah, it's getting close. Kenneth says, Cindy, that was our first cruise. We were on Paradise at the time. It was a non-smoking cruise. Very nice ship. Whew, boy, would I like to be on a non-smoking cruise. I have a feeling that Carnival's next ship, they're going to retire, so enjoy it. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Elation and Paradise aren't the next ones to go because of their age. And that's sad. And, one of my feelings about the whole issue with Cuba, that Cuba market was perfect for a lot of these older ships because they're smaller and they could go into the Cuban ports. And I am so sorry that got changed back where we can't go to Cuba again. Number one, I never got there, but it gave a life to a lot of ships that now have been scrapped because, they had lived out their life. So yeah, I'd love to see Cuba back on the equation again and give ships like Paradise and like Elation. And there's numerous others that are the smaller ships, don't have all the bells and whistles, but would do a good job going to places like Cuba. So yeah. Cindy says, I agree. Kenneth loved the inspiration from Tampa. That was one of the numerous good times. Great class of smaller ships. I always liked them. And I'm looking forward to Paradise. Yeah, it's not going to, and I realize it's an older ship. I don't mind older ships. I don't mind smaller ships. I mean, the Norwegian Sky was another perfect example in August. That's one of the nicest cruises I've ever been on. And it's an older, smaller ship. Of course, a lot of that's what you make of it, too. I mean, I'm always looking for the good things. Of course, I was with Hot Air Tom and Cindy on that one, too. That helped make it a great cruise. I admit that, too. I think if cruise line get rid of all their older, smaller ships, they're going to have to stop having home ports in places like Tampa or Baltimore where the big ships just won't fit. And I'd say exactly right. You got to have, there's still a place for the smaller ships. Kenneth says, we enjoy the smaller ships too, less the crowds. We're doing the Carnival Sunrise in January 2023 to the Bahamas to get away from the snow in Hawaii, and Princess in September 2023. I did Carnival Sunrise. That was the last ship I was on before the pandemic. I got home, March 1st or 2nd. I did 2 cruises on that trip. I did the Zider Dam, which was the last time I was on All American, and I did Carnival Sunrise. I had one fault with Carnival Sunrise, and that was they funneled you through the casino, and it was a heavy smoking casino, and I hated to have to go through there and smell it smoke. Other than that, Sunrise was good. Now, Sunrise has had some problems recently. My good friend that was working on Sunrise is now off Sunrise and is back home waiting her next assignment. She did not like Sunrise. She has her reasons, and I can't go into them publicly, but but the Sunrise was a good ship. It just the one thing that I didn't like was the smoking, and of course, then they've had a couple brawls and stuff on Sunrise, which that's not a problem with the ship. I still think that's a problem as much with the cruise line policies and the drink policy, drink package policy, I guess you should say. I still think that causes a lot of the issues. Before the blip, there was a web page that listed the cruise line stock ownership benefits. Oh, I'd like to see that. 100 shares in each cruise line is $50 OBC on shorter cruises, $100 OBC on 7-day cruises, more on longer ones. 100 shares in the cruise line gets you $50 onboard credit on shorter cruises, $100 onboard credit on 7 days. Okay. That's definitely a benefit. I mean, you can afford actually losing some money if that would happen. Kenneth says, thanks for looking into that. Yeah. Excuse me. I will definitely let you know when that happens. Cindy wants to go to Cuba. There are still Cuba cruises from European markets. Yeah, but we can't get on them. That's one of the issues. I wish we could. But technically, that's still a no-no for any U.S. citizen. Dennis says smoking bad. Yeah, Dennis, I don't know if you've been on in the show when I have talked about my smoking history. I smoked for 56 years total. And a good bit of that, a heavy smoker. I'm talking like 5 packs a day heavy. When I finally quit, which is 7 years ago now, I said, well, I'm never going to be one of those obnoxious people that complains about anybody that's smoking. It didn't take me long. And yeah, it bothers me. Anytime I go in a casino, go through a casino, I mean, most all of them have smoking areas. At least most of them have non-smoking areas. Well, obviously, I try to stay on the side that's non-smoking. On the same token, on the around the pool deck, usually one side is smoking, the other side is not. Well, that's the direction I go around the pool. So, yeah, it's bad, and I don't like to be on. I don't like to smell it anymore at all. So, anyway, that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. Again, it's been a busy week so far, and hopefully it'll calm down a bit as I get ready to leave this weekend for the next adventure. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. We always appreciate the thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. My goal is to have 60,000 subscribers by tomorrow at 12 noon. And if that's not the case, then one would be fine. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today. I get silly sometimes, guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back same time, same station tomorrow. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fantastic day, guys. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.